Have you ever come back from a long day of adventuring, slaying bokoblins, climbing mountains, and wondered, hey, what's the best place to chow down on a good meal? Well, today I'm going to visit every settlement in Hyrule and answer that question, so you know exactly where to head when you're looking to fill that empty stomach of yours. So the first place I figured we'd check out is the restaurant in Lorelin Village. After it's been cleared of monsters, that is. So this is just a small restaurant. It's a family-run one, with the family often taking up half the seats at the restaurant, so don't bring many people here. They're quite unique in that they serve a new meal every single day, something that you won't have tried before, which is really good for getting new experiences, but I imagine it's really hard to get regulars to, because you just never know what you're going to get. And if you like something, you're never going to get that again. So with them being a fishing village, I imagine the fish are really fresh. Anything they use in there would be great. But considering how far they are from most other places, they're quite isolated all the way out here. I would be very skeptical as to how fresh any of the other ingredients are. It does, however, have a really pretty view. I doubt you'll be paying much attention to the food. The view is so nice. It's also quite nice in that you can also see your food prepared right in front of you. So, you know, it's being prepared well, and you can just see your food go from ingredients to an actual meal, which is just quite nice. And if you look out slightly onto the horizon, you've even got some entertainment with a Lorelin water rally. There's no other source of food in Lorelin. There's no shop that sells it. The only place you can get food is either catching it yourself or going to the restaurant, which is quite a clever way to get new customers. See, they even said it themselves. So, what's good about Lorelin? It's family run, there's new dishes every day, there's great views, and you can see your food prepared right in front of you. And the negatives? If you like a dish, you'll never be able to get it again. And the family often take up all of the seating. So they definitely don't have a restaurant, but they do have food. So I'm going to take a look around, see exactly what they do have to see what the diet situation is like in Hyrule. So there's the obvious, they have Hylian shrooms, they've got plenty of them. They've got quite a lot of pumpkins growing, and as with anywhere in Hyrule, apples. And we already knew from one of the other quests that they have fresh carrots, so quite healthy at the moment. But let's take a look in the general store, see what they have. Okay, some more pumpkins and mushrooms. They've got some butter, they've got milk, and the cheese again. Got quite a lot of dairy actually. I hope you're not lactose intolerant. Some tomatoes and rice. It's a pretty well-stocked shop considering. And they even have recipes for food you can make. And yeah, it's food you can make from the local ingredients. So even though they don't have a restaurant, it does look like they're planning to use the ingredients for something. These are just flowers. They're not ones you can pick. But they do have what looks like a beehive. I think that's a beehive. So they might have some access to honey, and they've got goats in the area as well, so it looks like all of their food is locally grown, so they're pretty self-sufficient, all things considering. Pretty sure they had a recipe for pizza up there. So they've got a recipe for an elixir as well, but considering it's made from a lizard and a horn, I don't think that's something you'd be wanting to have regularly. It sounds kinda grim. They do have very nice, table settings. Their cutlery and their jugs and everything are all really pretty. That blue on white theme, it reminds me of Greece a bit. So if we just head on up here to the pasture, they have chickens, but they don't seem to have any eggs anywhere. So I'm guessing they've just not figured out what chickens do yet. And these must just be pets. They are free range, which is good. Although, if they're just free range, maybe they're not even pets, maybe they're just visiting. And inside you've got a lot of cheese. Hateno's thing seems to be just a lot of dairy. So I'm kind of concerned for their guts. They also don't seem to have any refrigeration for any of it. Although I guess that kind of explains how they discovered cheese. They do have a recipe for pizza though, so that's 3 recipes we found here so far. So even though they don't have a restaurant, they definitely do want to do more with their food. I'm not sure I've ever noticed that store before. That's a nice little detail. And it's definitely a place that would give a really nice view. So, summing up Hateno, there's lots of fresh vegetables, so you can be very healthy. It's pretty much self-sufficient food-wise. There's unique cheese, but there is a lot of dairy, so it's bad if you're lactose intolerant. There's no restaurant or seating area, and there are recipes available, but there's no prepared food anywhere in the village. Overall, I'd put it below Lorellan. So I think next on our list is Kakariko Village. This is another one where I don't think a restaurant exists there, at least not as far as I can remember. I do know they have a few shops selling food, so I guess we'll see what exactly their diets are like. I guess I'll just take a quick look around in the shops. There's no restaurant listed on the map, but that doesn't mean there isn't one at all. So I'll just take a quick look. So yeah, there's definitely no restaurant in Kakariko either. So we'll have to do the next best thing and check out the shops. I do love a bit of shopping. Forgot how stuttery this game can be sometimes. Right, so this looks like food. Okay, similar things to Hateno. Carrots, butter, and pumpkins. But they do have eggs. So that implies they might have figured out how chickens work. Which is a bit of a step up from Hateno. They're a little bit further along with the chicken science. They could make something like buttered pumpkin, carrots, and an omelette. Sounds quite nice actually. You also have a place to cook it right next door, so that's a bonus. I doubt there is anything in the shop. Yeah, no, there's just weapons in here. Unless you're feeling adventurous and want an eyeball or a wing. So above anything else, it seems like they've just devoted almost all of their effort to science, specifically with those rings. There's not much creative stuff here at all. So apparently they do have plums, they just don't seem to eat them anywhere, which makes sense considering how much they value them. But what's more concerning is that on the chicken science side, they seem to have progressed even further and learned how to weaponize them. So it's possible that in the near future that the weaponized chickens combined with all of the research they do could spell some trouble for the rest of Hyrule if the people of Kakariko decide they want to expand a bit. So they do have some access to snails as well, so maybe they could make some escargot as well. And as usual, the one thing that you find everywhere in Hyrule, apples. Everyone must be sick all of the time if there's that many apples around. Doctors must have gone extinct years ago. So how about Kakariko? They know how chickens work. There's a decent variety of ingredients, but again, no restaurant and not as focused on food compared to places like Hateno. So I'd put it below Hateno. So Zora's Domain, I know it doesn't have a restaurant already, but I'm not particularly expecting much from the food either. With the Zoras being mainly just fish based, I imagine all they have is fish. Although I think they have a few other Hylian ingredients, but I don't imagine food and food preparation is particularly high in what they want to do. To be honest, I can't imagine eating much other than fish would be really good for them. I mean, I don't know, I've never tried to feed a fish pizza. They do have a few bits though. They've got some rice, got some water, and tomatoes. So it's really basic, and the main food is definitely fish. Which is not surprising. I'm not a marine biologist, so I don't know whether the Zora actually eating any of these would be good or not. They're kind of people-like, so maybe it's fine. So, Zora's Domain. The fish is very fresh, but there's a limited variety of ingredients, nowhere to sit or prepare food, and I don't like where I eat to be damp. Overall, I'd put it below all of them. So next up on our list is Tarrytown, the most modern and newest of all of the towns in Hyrule. Surprisingly, it doesn't have a restaurant as far as I can see. Those over there I'm pretty sure are just houses. Yep, that's just someone's house. A really basic one too. It doesn't have a kitchen. So other than these tomatoes, there just isn't any food in Tarrytown. There's somewhere to cook food, but there's nothing to cook. The closest thing they have to food is this dazzle fruit, but if you eat that, it'll be like eating a flashbang or just a bomb. I can only assume this is due to mismanagement of funds from the Bolson construction company, potentially stemming from their policy of only hiring people whose name ends in son, which significantly limits their talent pool in an already quite small population in Hyrule. I'm not sure I can even put this on the list. There just isn't any food here. You shouldn't go here if you want to eat. So Goron City is a bit of a weird one, really, because the main place to get food isn't actually really anywhere near it. I'll look around and see what they have. I just don't expect it to be the most interesting bit here. The next bit though, I think should be, and I have quite high hopes for, but we'll get there in a sec. I never knew you could go through that window. Is this? Oh, that's cute. It's a little microphone. A little stone one. How come I never noticed that before? You can apparently have some nice live entertainment while you sleep in the hotel. Sounds a bit weird actually. Here we go. So yeah, not really much here other than really garnishes, because you've got salt, you've got some sugar, and you've got some Goron spice, which is probably really nice actually. It's one of the few places which actually has proper seasoning. Plus you can have it with the fire fruit, which is definitely, says it's definitely edible, isn't it? I think that's really the only place here. So let's go down to the more interesting place. Got a little bit of a way to go, so I will see you there. So this is where I'm interested in, because it's an actual restaurant with a chef and everything. And they've actually got some quite nice looking food. It's properly prepared. And like they've got some of the rock roast, but they've also got like actual food for people. It's got Colonel Sanders here. And it's got some really nice seating actually. It's quite spread out. But like look at this place over here. It's got a nice little light. Looks out onto the hot spring. This would be lovely in the evening. Have a nice meal. Wait for it to go down while you like chat, and then go for a nice little swim. See, it's even got more than one customer. So yeah, he seems to like it. That's one good review. I mean, he mainly eats other rock, but he seems quite happy here, so I imagine he eats here as well, occasionally. Let's talk to the chef. He seems nice and jolly. You could have a nice time here. Whoa, what are you doing there? I don't think that's hygienic. Okay, so I've got to mark it down for that. See, he just did it again. Maybe this is just one for the gays. They like eating out. Yeah, I think this one is going to be pretty high up on the list. It's an actual restaurant. The food is prepared. It's like basic cooked meat, but it is still prepared. There's lots of seating with really pretty views. And it's got the hot spring, so you can just like relax and recharge afterwards. The only thing is the poor staff hygiene. They're lovely and friendly, but they need to wash their hands. I think this might be top of the list actually. It's either equal to or above low. I think it comes down to personal preference on this. They're both very good. So up near Rakoka Hills, down this well, there is a little restaurant, if you can call it that, called Moses Restaurant.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really call it a proper restaurant, but it is. I'm going to count it as one for this.
Oh.
I wouldn't say the area is all that nice. It's a bit damp, although it is quite a cozy and pleasant area. Because it's quite a small tucked away place, I doubt it gets very busy, so they just have the one chair. Quite a big table though, so they've got plenty of room. But they don't use the best ingredients in their meals. They only take failed dishes and dubious food. So while it might end up really nice, do you really want that thought in the back of your mind of where it's come from? It's more for aesthetics, and if you're stuck for anything else, then I think a pleasant experience. Although the cave is quite pretty. So, Moses Restaurant. It's cozy, it's environmentally friendly because it reduces food waste, and it has nice but limited seating. But it uses questionable ingredients, and it's damp. I think I'd put it above Sora's Domain. Right, where next? Let's head over to the Rito Village. So, Rito Village doesn't actually have any restaurants either. Everyone here is a bird, so I imagine they eat regular bird things like seeds and worms. Although, given how big the Rito are, they must be pretty big seeds and pretty big worms. So while the Rito may not have a restaurant, I think they are getting closer to actually making regular meals. So yeah, as you can see, she should be making some great strides in meal preparations in the near future, so I imagine that'll change the diet of the Rito quite a lot. What they do have is quite a few ingredients. They've got wheat, they've got sugar, they've got butter, they've got oils so you can actually cook stuff, and sunshrooms, so a type of mushroom. They've got the basis for quite a lot here, and considering how fast they fly, I'm guessing this is quite fresh food. So their food is pretty decent, I would say. Yeah, it's quite decent food, it's just ones you have to make yourself. So, Rito Village. The ingredients will be really fresh, or pretty fresh at least, because they're birds, so they can fly, get the ingredients quickly and bring them back quickly. It feels very relaxed and cozy, like it just feels safe. The only thing is there's no prepared food. It looks like they're working towards it, but there's none at the moment. I think I'd put it below Hyrule. So I'm not expecting there to be loads of food here, because it is just a small settlement. Really more of just a stopping point as you pass through the desert before you get to Gerudo Town. So I doubt there's much. Although, what there is, it does look nice. You got nice cooked seared steak. You got some roasted bass. It's very rare that you get actual cooked food in these places, so that's nice to see. And if you want something a little bit more exotic, you've got some Lysafloss tail. You've even got some ingredients as well, like the Cephalina, and which would be good if you need to do some wiring or anything as well, and you're low on like copper. And you've got some hydromelons, so you've got a nice drink to go with it. Something to refresh you. They also have a recipe on the wall for something that looks really tasty actually. So they might be looking to expand, maybe bring in a restaurant in the future, or just offer some snacks to travellers. Something a bit more than just basic cooked meat and fish. So that would be cool. So the one thing I do want to say about this is that all of the meat and fish is just exposed. And we're in a desert. That's going to be sandy as hell. It might look nice, but that is going to have a very crispy layer on the outside, and it's all going to be sand. So maybe some people like that texture, but personally I don't. But if you like eating sand, then give it a go. I'm sure you'll love it. So, Kara Bazaar. They've got cooked food, which is good. They've got stuff to quench your thirst, which is definitely needed around here. But they do have sand in all the food. So unless you like a gritty texture, it's just not going to be nice to eat. Like, it's so hot here. That meat is going off really quickly. It's below the Rito village. But I think I might put it above Moses' restaurant, just because I quite like the look of the food, and the area is pretty. So Gerudo Town is one I'm quite interested in having a look around in, because it's one of the main areas, like one of the main places you go to as part of the story that seems like an actual functioning village, city. It seems like it has a lot more amenities and stuff than Zora's Domain would have, or the Rito village would have. So let's take a look around. So right away we've got a nice selection of fruits, which will definitely be nice in a desert. So good choices of food there. Knowing your target demographics, thirsty travellers, in both ways if they're coming here. They've also gone the route of actually cooking their food before serving it, and have a really nice selection. They've got the regular seared steak, if you want to be cheap. The seared prime steak, if you're looking for something kind of in the middle, a little bit fancier, but you don't want to spend the big bucks on. And then the seared gourmet steak, if you want to eat something that's bigger than you are. So straight away, I think, while they don't have a particular restaurant themselves, it looks more like they've gone for this street food type of route, which can be really nice. It'd either be amazing or absolutely terrible, with no in between. So I think it's one of the villages with nicer food. Let's check in the bunker. Got a place to cook stuff near the bed, so your bedroom is going to stink. They've got what I assume is a bar. So what they don't have, which is kind of surprising seeing as they're in a desert, is much shelter. There's no tables to eat at, no chairs to sit on, and no shelter in this central area. The only shelter there seems to be is in the buildings themselves, or underneath the tarps in front of the shops. I might be corrected, they do have a canteen. And they've got a recipe for what looks like an omelette, something with mushrooms. Huh. I don't think I've ever actually been in here. Sure, I'll eat an entire bird raw. I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite me. Well, that was potential food poisoning for nothing. That looks lovely. That looks like the nicest drink in Hyrule. So Gerudo Town has just suddenly shot up in quality for their restaurants, because I'm guessing they would be absolutely fine with you grabbing some food out there and coming in here, buying a drink and sitting on one of these lovely chairs which look just delightful. They look comfy, they've got tables for food and drink, it's got a lovely view, and they've also got recipes for you to look at, or at least one recipe. And they've got a very well stocked drinks cabinet. Yeah, at the moment, this might be the nicest place we visited. It's even got customers, more than one customer. So, Gerudo Town. They have prepared food, which is always a bonus. They've got more than just water to drink. Like, they put actual effort into the drinks they serve, which is something that seems to be completely unique in Hyrule. They've got a lovely seating area. And they've got shade and good views. I can't actually think of any negatives to it. They've got everything you want. So I think this might be the best place to get food in Hyrule. This is definitely the best place so far, so it's going straight to the top of the list. That's one thing I haven't actually looked at in the other settlements. Drinks. I guess I just assumed they'd all drink water, but until then it hadn't really dawned on me that they might actually do something more interesting with their drinks. But I guess maybe they just like bland things. They just like boring plain water. I don't think I've gone to Lookout Landing yet, which, as far as I remember, isn't interesting as far as food goes, although it might have quite a lot of ingredients. So, Lookout Landing itself... Oh, let me just make sure I don't die. So, as a settlement or village, whatever you want to call it in general, Lookout Landing's always been a bit weird. It doesn't have any buildings really beyond that tower and... What did that just hit? And the research centre. Everything else is just under tarps, what little there is. And the only real indoor place is the underground bunker. But that's closed before you get there, so I think the citizens are just kind of left to roam around outside, exposed to the elements. They do have some ingredients, and they've got apples, but really, that's nothing to talk about. It's... If someone in Hyrule needs to buy apples, then they've really never left Lookout Landing. You just have to look at a forest and suddenly you've got apples. It definitely seems to be much more of a military staging area than an actual settlement, just for frontline scientific research and training troops. I did figure that they would do a better job at rebuilding stuff. I mean, look at this. There's 3 beds for how many people? There's no place to cook down here. You can buy the ingredients here, but you have to go somewhere else to make anything. So you just have to have raw fish, cheese, and uncooked rice, or an apple. Which just doesn't seem nice for anyone, and I think it's bad to be feeding your soldiers that. They need better food. So, Lookout Landing. It has ingredients, and that's it. There's no meals, there's no way to even cook the food, and there's virtually no seating. Somehow it feels worse than Tarry Town, even though it technically has more food, because you've got raw fish, which you can't cook here. You've got cheese, which you can eat, but like, it's just cheese. Got rice, which you can't cook, and apples, which you can get everywhere. Even though Tarry Town had no food, somehow this feels worse. So yeah, Lookout Landing is right at the bottom of the list. So, where is the best place to eat in Hyrule? It's Gerudo Town. They've got a wide selection of food, they've got some lovely drinks, and it's all topped off with some beautiful views too. So the next time you're looking for a nice place to stop off for some nice food and some good drinks, go to the middle of a desert. Great.